Hi, I'm Alan Smith and welcome to the show. Did you know that the average American eats over 50 pounds of beef and drinks over 20 gallons of milk every year? While that may seem like a lot, it's actually come down over the past 50 years due to vegan and alternative diets. Depending on the day or who you talk to, red meat and dairy are either really good or really bad for you. I found the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Of course, in moderation, red meat and dairy can be a great source of vitamins and nutrients. And even more so if they come from farmers who follow healthy feeding practices of their livestock. It's been shown that grass-fed beef has fewer calories than grain-fed beef. And as the old saying goes, you are what you eat. So today I thought we'd take a look at the journey that both beef and dairy take to go from cow to kitchen. And to do that, I've asked my good friend and voracious carnivore, Georgia Pellegrini, to help us learn what's what with cuts of beef.
I'm so excited. We're here at South on Main in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we're about to go in and meet my friend, Chef Matt Bell. We're gonna learn to butcher some beef and learn about the cuts of ribeye. Let's go. So tell me what we're gonna be butchering here.
We've got a lip-on up ribeye.
Okay.
So you've got two parts of the ribeye, the up and the down. We like the up because it's a little more narrow.
Now, could a home cook buy a whole piece this size?
Absolutely.
A grocery store would sell something like this?
Maybe not a grocery store, but
maybe a butcher.
A quality butcher. The two parts of this are the eye of ribeye, which you've got down the center here. And then you'll see a little separation right here, and you've got the ribeye cap. Well, you want to get into this?
Let's get in here.
Awesome.
I'm ready to do it. Now I'm going to follow your lead.
Yours has already started there a little bit, but we're just going to start pulling.
And this is what you're calling the lip, right?
Yeah, we're going to pull this lip back. You can take almost this whole loin apart by hand. So I like to take this and we'll flip it up, and then you can kind of roll that back to kind of finish. So then we can just go in.
Okay.
So we've got this is the lip that's come off. So this, again, we can just start kind of pulling it apart here. So this is where we're actually separating our eye from our ribeye cap.
Got it.
And it's gonna come almost all the way off before I even...
It's amazing how it just peels apart. You hardly need a knife at all.
Now that you're in there, you can pretty easily just
take that tip of that knife and just swipe away.
Yeah, it takes very little knife work.
So I just cut right through here.
Yeah, you take it right off. Cool.
Here we are. Love it.
So there's our cap and our eye. And you can see with the eye, you know, we've got more marbling through here.
So what's next here? Did I do a decent job?
You did. Flip the backside.
Okay.
And what you've left on there is perfect because it gives
like a little extra fat in my food.
Gives it a little tenderness. Because really all your silver skin's on this side.
Right.
And that's the stuff that's a little tough
That's what you really want to get rid of.
Yeah. Well, I'll show you on this this cap piece. You know, really it's about having a good sharp knife. So what I like to do is start about, I guess, kind of a quarter of the way I'm gonna go, and I'm always gonna work away from me. And I'll just use that sharp point to kind of get under there. And as we move through the meat, we're actually angling the knife up and pulling up a little. So I just kind of pull up and move slowly.
There we are.
But as we clean this rib cap up, you're gonna see it, and it's gonna start to resemble other cuts, like maybe a flank or a skirt.
And what are you gonna do with this cut here? Is this for your lunch service? Or
This is for our lunch service.
Yes.
But yeah, we just try and get these nice little steaks like that. So you can see, especially on your piece here, there's this great intermuscular fat on this part of the ribeye.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You know, typically you could just take a ribeye, leave the cap on and everything, and just cut it. And what you've got is this here, and then you'll have that big fat cap.
Now what about this right here? Are we gonna cut this?
Yeah, absolutely. Your typical butcher, you know, they're going to be able to give you cuts that you've not seen or, you know, are not used to.
I think the answer to most things in life is to make friends with the butcher. Have him be your best friend.
That's never a bad idea.
He'll save all the special stuff for you. He'll teach you. Well, Matt, this has been delightful.
Awesome.
I'm going to shake you with my meaty hands.
Yeah, we're both.
And I'm ready to go eat now. Let's go. I'm ready for some meat.
Coming up, a day at the dairy farm. And a little later, getting milk from a cow is not as easy as it looks, so stay tuned. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Who can resist milk? One of those great things that's a gift from our bovine friends. And all the things that milk can do for us, just think about it. High protein, great for B vitamins, gives us lots of energy. A, well, vitamin A helps with our immune system. And then bone strength that comes from vitamin D, as well as all that calcium. Gotta love milk. Just down the road from here, there's an atypical dairy farm that believes their method of farming is the key to their success.
So right here, we're standing in the midst of what these ladies are all eating. Is that right?
Yes.
How many acres would you say you have growing here for all your cows?
If we can get 350 good acres each year, we'll come out and have an adequate supply of it.
These gals are hungry.
Considering that they eat, you know, around 100 pounds of a feed a day per cow, it adds up really quickly.
So clearly you found a way to save on expenses, but I imagine it also has some meaning when you really understand where the cow's food is coming from.
It does. We should be able to grow and to harvest a quality product, and quality feed dictates health of the cow and in return milk production.
All right, is this where the gold is kept, Frederick?
Yes, it is. The liquid gold of milk, that is, to a dairy farmer.
I love it. Wow, how much is in here?
These are 1,000-gallon storage tanks, and right now
Amazing.
there's about 800 gallons in that tank.
Wow. Now, where does this process all start?
It all starts next door over here in the milking parlor.
Okay.
Twice a day, each day, we bring the cows up. It takes us, you know, currently about 3 hours to milk 200 cows.
That's a lot. Okay. So now this is raw milk here. It's not been pasteurized.
Yes, what you see in this tank right here is straight from the cow, like at her body temperature, which is like 101.5 degrees. And we cool it down and store it at 35 and keep it there. The truck comes by our farm here every day and picks up the milk.
So they come and they pick up all of this raw milk and they take it to the facility.
And it currently is going to Little Rock to the processing plant, to where that milk is then pasteurized and put into the gallon jugs.
So it all gets pasteurized at one time and then transferred into jugs. Well, can I try some of this liquid gold?
Let's give it a shot. It's the real thing.
That is the real deal right there.
This is as fresh as it gets.
Sure is. Wow. Cheers. It's about as natural as it gets.
It's the real thing.
It's like wine tasting, only different.
After the break, we're learning how to milk a cow at Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead. You don't want to miss it. How about a fun way to get up close and personal with that next glass of milk and cookies?
name is Audra. I work here at Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead. We're in the dairy barn where I do milkings every day at 9:30 and 4:30. We're glad you're here. This is Heidi. She is a brown Swiss. She's one of our 2 milking cows that we have here at Deanna Rose. Dairy cows in the dairy cattle industry are milked twice a day, every day, at 12-hour intervals to ensure even milking. The first thing I have to do is strip her teats to make sure that everything is working. The machine that we use to get the milk out of Heidi is called the claw, but it's not scary. It's just 4 suction cups that have air in them. Does anybody want to stick their finger in here? The amount that a cow gives varies greatly depending on their breed and what they are fed every day. Holsteins are known for their big production in the dairy industry. They give the most milk, and they can milk between 80 and 100 pounds every day across the board. Cows need a lot of roughage and dry matter. They eat a lot of hay. They also need free water all the time, and then the feed that they get is specific to what they need to get out of the cows. So our cows are not high milkers. We don't need a ton of milk every day. I really hope that the kids who come into the dairy barn learn to appreciate the large animals that we have here and what they do for society in general. I'm really big in ag education, and so I hope these kids go away thinking, oh, we milked a cow today, that was awesome. I want to go have dairy products now because I know where it comes from and I know why it's so good for me.
Next, we're putting that milk to work at Loblolly Creamery to make some top quality ice cream. Ooh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yum. Well, it should be no surprise that ice cream is one of the most popular uses of milk and cream. So to find out what makes the very best ice cream, we went to our friends at Loblolly Creamery.
So at Loblolly Creamery, we use local milk. We get full fat whole milk, full cream, Bulgarian buttermilk, really rich and decadent milks that don't have any hormones or artificial ingredients. We really want to make it as classic homemade ice cream as possible. It takes 3 days to make our ice cream, which seems like a long process. It's really slow, small batch, handcrafted, but that really makes sure that it's a great product. We start with making our base the first day. We do a 50-50 ratio of milk to cream, and then after we make our base, we keep it chilled overnight, and that's where we'll steep our coffee or our herbs or our fruits in the base to really infuse that flavor.
Today we're going to be making our Loblolly carrot cake ice cream. We're using our Loblolly sweet cream base, just local Highland milk, sugar, cream, a little bit of salt. So first into the churner, we're going to take our roasted pureed carrots, and then to that we're going to add our Highland sweet cream base. And then we'll go ahead and add the pecans in, and these really great bourbon-soaked raisins. And then from there, we're gonna close it and get it going.
I think it's really important to source your dairy and your meats locally. You're not using as much fuel and resources to make that product. Also, it's better for you, better for the environment. It doesn't have all that stuff in there. And you're also then helping the local economy by helping your local rancher or farmer, dairy farmer.
So the ice cream's ready, got down to 22. We're gonna stop it. Start with our swirl in here. Extraction. So we have the finished product. We have the Loblolly carrot cake ice cream.
One thing I've learned by sourcing locally with our milk is that it's just a better product. It doesn't have any hormones or antibiotics. It's fuller, richer with fat. It tastes real. It doesn't have stabilizers or artificial ingredients. It's just a pure product. We try to be transparent as a food company, so we want to try to be honest with what we have as our ingredients in our ice cream. So we can do that when we are confident with the ingredients we have are whole and real.
After the break, you've heard of buffalo, but what about beefalo? You don't want to miss this. Okay, so who doesn't enjoy the flavor of a great old-fashioned hamburger? I know I certainly do. I guess they get a bad rap because they can have a lot of fat content associated with them, so they're considered really not that healthy. But what if you were able to kind of take the fat content out? They would be healthier. That's where beefalo comes in.
That's an obvious question, and a lot of people assume that it's an animal that's 50% bison and 50% cow, but actually the percentage range is from 17% bison up to what we consider a full-blood beefalo at 37.5%. Well, my grandfather was in the dairy business and raised beef cows, him and my uncle, so the farm was where I always wanted to be every chance I got when I was growing up. It became obvious that heart disease ran on both sides of my family tree, and I've always been kind of a meat and potatoes kind of guy. I didn't want to change that, and started researching it. Pretty well determined that beefalo was the route I wanted to go with raising animals. And the best quality, I guess, for the beefalo is the fact that it's lower in fat and cholesterol, significantly lower than beef, actually comparable to skinless chicken breast. Not just chicken breast, but skinless chicken breast. So that's very significant for anyone with heart disease or that doesn't want to develop heart disease. The buffalo genetics, at the DNA level, it actually changes the composition of the meat. The meat will not marble. I don't care how much you feed them. The meat will not marble, and that reduces the fat and cholesterol content of the meat, but it doesn't diminish the flavor. A lot of people will argue that the flavor comes from the fat, but that's really not the case. The flavor actually comes in the meat from what the animal eats. It's basically grass-based, So these are animals that have evolved eating grass over millions of years. That's what they should eat.
Want to learn more? Visit pallansmith.com for delicious recipes, garden tips, blog posts, and our online store. Certainly from what we've learned in today's show, that beef and dairy aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The thing to think about is just source your food responsibly. And remember, all things in moderation. Now we could talk about this until the cows come home, but I'm ready to have a hamburger. Until next time, I'm Alan Smith.